Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Life in Panels, an OtakuNET Original Series. I'm your host, SentinelSeiyu, aka Aaron, and I'm joined by, of course,
JT, aka Jason.
And we are glad you're joining us today. We got another great episode for you, filled with a bunch of things weeb, nerd, otaku, and geeky. So grab your favorite anime character plush or all of your anime figures and get ready to enjoy another edition of Life in Panels. Welcome back to this week's episode. I will try to make eye contact this time better with the camera, and hopefully we'll be good. But we hope you had a great week. It's been a very busy week in the world of anime and manga, that is for sure, with Anime Expo finally wrapping up last weekend, or I guess earlier this week. I always forget it bleeds into the first half of the week after the 4th. And of course, we got lots of announcements coming from that, which we'll be covering in this edition of Life in Panels, as well as, of course, probably some of our own takes and a few things that you maybe missed if you missed last week's episode. So you should go check that out before you listen to this one. Otherwise, we'll spoil a bunch of stuff for you, and that's no fun either. So, anyways, first thing I have to always ask, JT, first of all, I have a Sword Art Online shirt on this week, so we've got to represent and continue to have episodes that can't stop referencing that anime series. And then, of course, I always have to ask at the top of the hour, how are you doing this week, JT?
I think I'd say I'm doing okay. Not as great as last week. Some revelations have been made. Some revelations have been made.
Would you want to share them on the podcast? What are the revelations?
Maybe not at the moment.
Okay, good to know. We'll keep it at that. We'll keep it there.
Maybe I'll bring it up. Next week.
Interesting. We'll have to talk about that sometime.
Well, how about you?
About the same. My week's been kind of okay. It's been really crazy. I've been, JT messaged me today. I was sitting in a Barnes & Noble, of all things, when JT messaged me and said, "Hey, Aaron, just reaching out. Are we still doing this week's episode, because and are we still recording at 5:30? And also, you haven't sent any of the show notes over." And that was my cue that I still needed to prep for something. I knew I was forgetting something this week, and that something was this podcast. So got that going for me this week. Yeah, it's been really crazy this week at my work. I'm also dealing with the fiasco. My mom has an older phone, and I'm going to leave it pretty short because she listens to this podcast, and I'm going to hear from her if I keep going. But the big thing is she can't send text messages anymore because the old app for Samsung Messages went away. And so now we're stuck, and now we got to figure out getting her a new phone. And she's the type of person, again, she listens to this podcast, so I got to be careful with how I say this. She's like me. I feel like in the last 10 years with technology, I just don't want it in my life anymore. But unfortunately, I am a young person. Yeah, exactly. Like, to do this show, I have to use technology.
You're the person I know with the most technology.
Yeah, I know. That is funny. I used to be an IT guy. I still kind of am. But I don't like technology, so yeah, that's great. So yeah, getting her a new phone is going to be a bit of a challenge, and so that's what I got looking forward to. The weekend we are recording this, I will have gone through all of that fiasco by the time this episode is, by the time you folks are listening to it, our wonderful audience is listening to it. But yes, of course, we've been dealing with that. So I got that, and then I realized I forgot that I had months back I had scheduled a time to meet with my cousin. I haven't seen him in like 3 months, being that I'm not usually close to where he lives. It's a bit of a drive for him. So I had set this up, totally forgot about it. It calls me on Wednesday night, like, "Are we still meeting?" Up? And I'm like, "Oh yeah, we are. Don't worry, we'll figure it out." And then that's what prompted me to drive over to a Barnes and Noble store in a certain location. I guess I could probably say at Mall of America. And we met up, and that was about, and then JT had messaged me and said, "Hey, what's going on?"
It was pretty funny because when you told me that you were there, I actually thought about going today. Only because my workplace is around like 10 minutes away from the mall.
Gotcha.
So I was like, do I want to make a quick stop today? And then I was like, no, I don't think I'll have time because I have a recording with Aaron, and that's when I texted you. So then when you said that you were at the mall when I thought about going, I was like, oh, that's a funny
coincidence.
Funny coincidence.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I was like, I was able to get there like early enough, and I had some other business to take care of. But it was one of those things where I was hanging out with him, and I kept looking down at I was kind of like one of those bad people. I kept looking down at his watch and was like, okay, it's getting close to 3:30. I gotta leave because I'm gonna get stuck in traffic, and then I'm not gonna make the podcast. But that is definitely something something interesting for sure. That well, it's not something interesting, but almost have the show ended up going down that route. But anyways, we're here, we made it, we're listening to us, we survived. But that's so funny.
Thank you
we're gonna go to there. Yes.
Yeah, so when you told me you were there, I thought about going, but then I was like, no, you'd probably be gone by the time I try to head there.
Yeah, traffic today was interesting. It was a lot busier than I was kind of expecting. So
yeah, 74 and 94 are extremely busy today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I guess everybody's just back at work, but
yeah,
which a lot busier than normal.
Yeah, it was a lot busier than normal, and because like 2 days ago, it was actually like super easy. Like on Wednesday, I experienced no traffic, and then I guess because it's Friday.
Yeah. I guess Friday people are off in the summers more. It just seemed weird. I left usually at the time I normally do, which is between the 8 a.m. rush hour, and then usually it starts picking up around like 11:30 because everybody's going out for those business lunches that everybody has. And I'm an anime fan, so I don't get invited to business lunches. So I usually try to go between the peak hours, and it was still incredibly busy even after peak hours, but it was fun. No, I got to go out to the Mall of America, picked up some manga, which we'll talk about in the show, and overall it was a pretty great time. So
nice.
Good to catch up with my cousin as well. Haven't seen him for a while, and he's I found out he's moving to Texas potentially in later in the year, so that's gonna be weird. His family's been saying that for a while now, but I think it's kind of official. Also, I'm burping on the podcast. That's great.
Okay.
You can see how seriously we take things here.
Between your burps and my coughs, will be fine.
Yeah, we'll even each other out. It's all good. All right, JT. Well, I gave you my list because I was furiously typing that into my phone earlier today. So feel free to pick and choose what you want to hear.
So
for our audience.
we're gonna start off with first. Let's talk about Anime Expo for next year, Chaos and Confusion.
Gotcha. Okay, so there's a typo here. 2026. We're going to talk about 2026.
2026.
That was my fault.
I was giving the wrong script.
I was purposeful. It's not at fault. There was bad information that was given. Yes, 2026 Anime Expo has been a bit of a controversial thing. Apparently, there has been a lot of ramblings that this has been kind of a messier Anime Expo. A few different things that people are citing, of course, as Anime Expo is getting huge, and we're certainly not helping by contributing to it, but anime fans are coming from pretty much everywhere. Goodness gracious, I heard, this was a couple of years ago now, but a bunch of basketball players, and I know nothing about the NBA, recently came out and they're like, I don't know, one of them was like, I really love One Piece. One Piece is a great series, which I do have to say is a good series, but I've not watched it, so I can't really fully be genuine.
The new season's coming out, the remake's coming out. Aaron can watch
I'm waiting for the shorter version. I'm really hyped. I'm excited. It's going to be great. I will eventually get around to checking it out, but anime fans are everywhere. You're listening to this podcast. Who knows? Maybe you've been a lifelong veteran of anime. Maybe you're like me, who is one of those weird people that transcends multiple generations and really didn't get into anime until it became very mainstream. But anime is huge, and you can't go down pretty much any corner without seeing a Luffy. I was in several stores today that were just pop culture themed. Good God, I saw like 30 Luffys today. Your phones used to be for talking on the telephone. I'm stealing this line from Ken Lauderdale, but your phones used to be for talking on the telephone with. Now you're watching Sailor Moon on the side of a mountain. It's a magical device that you have. So Anime is everywhere. Anime Expo obviously causes a lot of people to have the same idea. Let's go to an anime convention. And what better anime convention to go to than the biggest anime convention in the United States, which is, of course, Anime Expo. This year, there's a lot of different things. So lots of people showing up for AX this year, huge anime fans. It's getting bigger and bigger every year. What used to be a convention of maybe 100,000 people has doubled and tripled in the past decade. I'll have to get you the numbers on exactly how many attendees were there this year that were tracked. Obviously, as best as they can track that. But this year sought that as the biggest point. Lots of people in the community who are struggling with that. Jason is looking up those numbers for us, so thank you, JT, for that. But beside just the fact that Anime Expo is huge, there's been some big developments happening in LA. So, as you know, Los Angeles has recently been marked as the home of the new Summer Olympics in the next couple of years. And JT, you have some numbers.
Around 422,000 people from over 65 countries came to Anime Expo this year.
Huge. Like, those are insane numbers. And so we are seeing a lot of struggles with lots of anime fans who are really eager to go to these conventions and to check stuff out, because for a lot of them, it's their very first convention, including me. Like, I will be going next year and contributing to that problem. But hopefully it won't be as bad. But Los Angeles is also particularly citing as a big struggle right now as the site of course, the Summer Olympics, I believe, is going to be the home to the Summer Olympics here. And let me try and look this up first while I'm trying to talk at the same time. It's not working out for me so well here. But yes, the 2028 Olympics will be held in Los Angeles. It looks like it's going to take place in August, and I'm trying to remember if these are the Summer Olympics. Okay, yeah. So the 2028 Summer Olympics are scheduled to be held in Los Angeles in 2028. So not next year, but the following summer is going to be pretty crazy. So biggest complaints that we are seeing from people right now on online, of course, is the long badge lines at Anime Expo this year. And I can see if I can pull up an image here.
Well, I feel like obviously no one likes long lines, but I feel like I think it has to be a more positive outlook on it, because then kind of like what you're saying, you know, it's so much more mainstream now, so that means like it's so much more easily accessible. Kind of what you were talking about, how like you can find it on your phone, you can find it anywhere now, and it also allows other shows to get more acknowledged. Because I think one show, one anime that recently came out, Black Torch, I think if you want to go check that out, the first episode came out, I thought it was amazing, and then a lot of people were talking about that too, because I think the manga for it actually got cut, so a lot of people were surprised that it's getting an adaptation. But I think it's because of things like this, on how the anime community has grown so much more. It allows us to, potentially bring back some things that were stopped, or, like give a second life to things.
Yes, yeah.
It creates way more projects.
Absolutely. And it's a great thing. Lots of anime fans who've been in the community for quite some time are, of course, frustrated by the length of the lines that are experience, but there's not much that people can really do with regards to the length of the line. But as you can see, this I will try to share this, and hopefully this will not get us content ID'd. But this user here experienced a long experience line here. So you can see the line was stretching through several city blocks downtown Los Angeles, California, which is pretty wild. And I will try and find, I'm not as prepared for the show as I should be. As you can see, I am cheating with notes. But it has been pretty crazy. I'm going to trying to fix the screen here. It's not giving me the option to do what I need to do. However, of course, Anime Expo is definitely seeking a lot of challenges right now with regards to those lines. Here we go. With regards to those lines that that people are experiencing here. So it is definitely going to be interesting to see where Anime Expo takes this in the future, just because of the sheer volume of
Do you think
of the
that they
lines.
would? You think that they're gonna take it like bigger and like increasing the venue somehow, or do you think they're gonna limit the amount of ticket sales? Because I don't see a future where they do that, but I know some people would probably at least bring that idea up.
Yeah, I mean, so the biggest challenge this year too, with the winter, with the me bringing up the Olympics again. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit all over the place here. Is that the challenge is that Los Angeles is is in a lot of projects right now
Mm-hmm.
to expand. I believe it is Crypto Arena, so just adjacent to the Los Angeles Convention Center. They are expanding a lot of that area so that they can support the Summer Olympics in 2028. That construction is going to stretch obviously this year all the way into next Anime Expo. And then, of course, 2028, the project will need to be completed before August, when the games actually begin. But the venue is running into challenges because the Los Angeles Convention Center is a part, pieces of the Los Angeles Convention Center were under construction for that, despite it being part Crypto Arena, part the Convention Center, to expand that area. So Anime Expo had a significant smaller footprint that caused a lot of those issues for things like Artist Alley and the larger
Mm-hmm.
floor space of the convention. And this being a commercial convention, right, which holds a lot more of industry in it, struggled to fit into that space. And we started to see a lot of the difficulties, as you can see in that video. And I will try and pull up one that works, that looks a little bit better, just for our audience who's interested. There is that struggle is going to persist for the next 2 years, and I think Anime Expo honestly tried to handle it to the best of the ability that they could. The issue is when you try to have when you have 3 times the amount of people that were visiting an anime convention 10 years ago, plus the additional struggles of just how large, how much that reduction in space pretty much prevents people from being able to, fit as many individuals in that area. That's a struggle as well. So those are a lot of the big things that we're seeing and will be persisting through next year. But in all honesty, Anime Expo did a really good job of being able to use parts of Crypto Arena to be able to kind of furlough some of that, but it just wasn't enough. And there for next year needs to be planning that. Obviously, I will be there to tell you how that is next year. But of course, there needs to be probably additional spaces at other venues that are closely nearby to be able to fit the amount of people that Anime Expo is now starting to see each year. And next year will be interesting with all of that construction going on and how that gets handled. If this year was chaotic, I can't imagine what next year will bring, which is concerning for a lot of attendees who are attending, including myself. But it is in some ways a really great sign to the anime community.
It's
And of
growing
course,
so much more.
right. And of course, there's always going to be the individuals who think that, it seems like it's too oversaturated, it's too mainstream. But to be honest, in my opinion, and I'm going to fight you on that, I think this is honestly the best thing we can see for the anime community. And I stand by that. But
Yeah, no, I think
it's definitely a challenge.
I think it totally does because we only stand to gain more by it growing bigger because then it allows for like one big example is Artist Alley. It allows for more artists to be seen. It allows for other artists to potentially put workouts regarding to to the animes and video games and stuff like that. And then us as a community just get more from it. Like there's amazing cosplayers out there. There's amazing creators out there, and we don't really get to see too much of them. So the bigger the event becomes, the more people have a chance to just meet each other and
Yes, yeah.
just kind of show off their talents.
Absolutely. And as I understand, when a fandom has been with a fan base and it is experienced a sudden surge, and that was for a lot of what Legend of Zelda fans experienced back before Breath of the Wild was released, and I was a part of that fan community prior to Breath of the Wild's release, is that yes, there's always going to be the surge and then the people who aren't the bad apples that come from a surge like that. But in a lot of ways, the industry would not have quite the amount of care and time put into things if there wasn't obviously that level of a company's going to gain profits from being able to sell, like, to have conventions this big, to have this many people with the eyes on anime. So in some ways it is sort of a curse, and it's a double-edged sword is I guess what I'm trying to say. And that is, we need this to be able to be successful, and at the same time, we're going to struggle to see, you're going to run into these issues for sure. But it'll be interesting to see where that goes. And I'm trying to see if I can pull up a better video of the line, but of course Anime Expo needs to take advantage of that.
I think part of the issue is because of how big it is, but I think one big thing is how the fans feel. It's how fans of the community feel, and one big aspect of it is. Oh, actually, I'll say it after this.
No, go ahead. You can talk over this. We're gonna keep the video muted for the creator here, and of course thanks to Xena24_7 on Instagram for showing us just how chaotic the registration line was this year. And those are some pretty long lines that are stretching down Los Angeles here. Crypto Arena showing up in the back there for just a second. So Crypto Arena is the round building back here, as you can see, and that line is certainly not getting any smaller. And inside of course not much better. Again, with that reduction in space, that is a lot of anime fans, and I don't think I want to know how much what that smelled like in that convention center. Sorry, anime fans, but deodorant is something you should pack at all conventions. I will fight you on that.
You should, like, when it comes to cosmetic items, because when I went to my first convention, I made sure to overdo it, because even if I had too much on, I knew that throughout the day it would eventually wear off.
Yes,
especially because they get hot. Conventions get so hot, you're gonna sweat like crazy.
You pack that many people in heavy costumes into a convention hall, it's going to it is going to stink. But this is kind of insane to see how long these lines are, and Anime Expo is not getting any smaller anytime soon, and I understand why people are upset, of course, but in some ways, hopefully Anime Expo learns from the mistakes they made this year in some ways with not planning for just how many people were going to show up, and again, countering and factoring in those reductions in space that Anime Expo 2025 didn't experience, and hopefully next year for 2028 it will be a little bit better, or it might even be worse than that, so we'll have to see. But that pretty much sums up Anime Expo. Lots of fans, though, had a really great time. Of course, we don't want to be negative this whole time. Anime Expo had a lot of great moments. There's a lot of wonderful announcements for anime fans to get excited about, which we are going to probably talk about next, and dive into that. But of course, if you were there,
I just wanted to finish my point that I was making earlier.
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
I just let Aaron sweep me away. No.
Yes. It tends to happen a lot.
Just the point I wanted to make was kind of like what you said earlier. Obviously celebrities are into it also, and I think this happened. I can't remember the exact celebrity it was, but it happened with Cyberpunk 2, I believe, where a celebrity show their interest for it, and then a bunch of their fans got into Cyberpunk, and especially the anime, it's very good. I haven't watched it, but go check it out if you're interested. But I've the term LARPing. I'm pretty sure that is, and I feel like that's part of the reason.
Real quick, for those who don't know, who are listening to the show, LARPing is live action role playing.
Yes, but people are using it in the term of LARPing as a fan, or LARPing as someone in the fan base, just because it is more mainstream in media now, and with celebrities expressing their interest in it too, a lot of the fans of those celebrities are also getting in it just because the celebrity's in it. And I don't think that pertains to this example, because I don't think any person who's pretending to be a fan or would actually go through this and stand that long in line to go to an actual convention. But I feel like that's definitely something in the back of people's mind, that that causes them to be frustrated, and we can see it in other examples too. Because obviously, if you're a fan of something and then someone else comes along like just pretending to be into it for the sake of someone else, obviously is gonna rub you the wrong way.
Absolutely.
But what are your thoughts
Yes.
on that too?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, and these are images from 2024 and 2023. Is that this has not been consistent, but to my thoughts, and I mean, just with the way that Anime Expo lines have been, I think this is a good thing in a lot of ways, and fans, this is great to see as an anime fan myself, and to see productions that are moving forward. We can have bigger and better series. I also understand the frustrations behind that, and I understand why people are frustrated in the way that they are with it, and I think it's one of those things where the struggle will be how do we find a balance? How do we strike that balance between being able to welcome in new fans and not make it overwhelming for them, and at the same time make sure that everybody in the community is taken care of. And in a lot of ways, I do sympathize with these people who have been fans for a long time, and now Anime Expo, this thing that used to be small and quiet and relegated to a few people, is now everywhere, and that brings along with the terribleness,
the good
that
and the
people,
bad, yeah.
right? I mean, the terribleness that has mass adoption of anything, or just really big pop culture things, brings a lot of the the regular people into it who are just bad fans, and every fandom's gonna have that. Everybody's gonna experience that. It's just gonna be a struggle.
Do you think you could have waited in this line if you did? Because originally you were going to go this year, right, instead of next year.
Yes, I was originally planning.
So you could have been one of the people in this line.
Absolutely.
Do you think you could have waited in line? Well, I'm pretty sure you would have, but I don't want to answer for you. Go ahead.
Right. I mean, from my standpoint, I don't think these lines are. I think anybody who's going to pay $113 to register to be, Anime Expo this year, the badge cost alone is upwards of almost $200. Would say, I'm not getting in this line after you've just dropped what is essentially $120, which I can't even see the tickets from this year. But the thing is so, I would have stood in the line. I think anybody who pays that much money to stand in the line would stand in the line. And I've had to stand in lines this long. For Anime Detour, the previous year to this year, on the first day of badge pickup, line
you were right.
Stretched.
4-day tickets were around $200.
Right. And so I don't think anybody would just willingly throw away $200 at seeing a registration line this long. Anime fans are quite persistent people. So a lot of us are pretty crazy. I'm sorry, but I kind of have to agree with that. And so I think nobody would throw, after you fly 4 hours and probably drop close to at least $1,000 or $2, just to get out there and to experience it. I don't think anybody would turn away from a line like that. At the same time, California was experiencing one of the hottest 4th of Julys in record. It is in California in the summer. If you are in pounds and pounds and pounds of cosplay, a lot of these costume designs are not the most ideal. Absolutely, I understand the frustration, and at least with Anime Detour, at least the local con that I've experienced, that's been probably the busiest convention I've been at. Up until when I eventually will head out to Twin Cities Con this November. The line was significantly long, but a lot of fans, it was not at a length that wasn't intolerable, but was significantly long. I was waiting a good half an hour before I got my badge, and I was actually there early. So, it's nothing that I don't think any specific person, I would have waited in the line, even seeing it be stretched several blocks down from the Los Angeles Convention Center. I just think Anime Expo is responsible for being able to the best of their ability, understand what anime fans need, and I don't know the situation as far as was water distributed. Probably not. And a lot of conventions get the bad rap for not really taking care of anime fans, particularly, again, commercial conventions, which are there to make a profit. But there's a limit to where people are okay with, conventions and media organizations profiting off of them. And then where it just goes too far. And like I said, I don't know what was offered to people standing in lines. And thankfully, it looks like it was a cloudy day, at least as registration was setting up. But, you know, that's the thing that AX is responsible for, is any number of these people in this cosplay waiting in 80, 90-degree California heat is not going to have a really good experience with that. And by proxy, your convention. And had you known the amount of people that have shown up in previous years and the capacity issues presented by renovations that were happening for the upcoming Summer Olympics, those are all things that should have been factored in. Now, of course, I don't know if the folks behind Anime Expo and AX knew that, you know, these things were happening, but again, it is one of those things where, you know, I think there was a little bit of error. You know, there's a little bit of there needs to be a little bit of forgiveness on both sides.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure they didn't think that it would ramp up this much. So we can't exactly put too much on them for how prepared they could have been. And like everything you were saying, I think to the best of their ability and what they were able to get at the time, like I believe they did do the best that they could for the situation. And I was very curious to get your thoughts on this, because I don't know if I've said it on the show, but I have very sensitive skin. It's a weird skin condition thing, so I get sunburns extremely easy, especially even here in like the Midwest summer. I think like if I go like half an hour, like, you know, 20-30 minutes, I could get like severely sunburned. So for me, I'm just like, if I was there, I actually don't know if I could be able to do it. Like, exactly. I think I would want it to, but eventually if I get too heat fatigued, especially with my skin condition, I think I would have just had it been like, oh nope, I think I'm just gonna leave.
Absolutely. And it's not even like the registration line with Anime Detour is inside. So it's not like you're standing outside in California heat. And so I think next year Anime Expo has the responsibility for finding a better solution to this. And if they actually care about fans in the way that they do, and I'm not accusing them of not caring about fans this, but knowing that there's going to still continue to be these capacity issues that persist next year. And of course, again, the complaints from a lot of the community, that needs to change for 2028, and there needs to be a different process going into that. Now, it's up to them to change that, and whether they do that is up to their discretion. But I think also anime fans need to understand too, you know, I think the fandom was very quick to jump to the, you know, the clickbait, the headline of, oh my god, Anime Expo is a mess, and posting your viral video. And in reality, I've heard nothing but, not say nothing but good things at Anime Expo this year. There's been a lot of negative that I'm sure we can talk about in future episodes, but for the most part, majority of fans still had fun.
Still had a good time.
And that's important for a few reasons, because we've seen disastrous cons. We've seen cons where things went horribly wrong. You know, Los Pegasus Unicon in 2013, again, DashCon in 2014. There are examples of horrible cons that went bad. Anime Expo is far from that. I think Anime Expo 2026 would have you believe it was close to a DashCon, Las Pegasus Unicon situation. But again, that's a majority of the people that are looking for clickbait, and a majority of anime fans still had a really great time. So fans just, again, need to be mindful of the constraints of planning something like this. It isn't easy. I have folks in the industry that do this for a living. It isn't easy to coordinate hundreds of people attending a convention at one time, panels, making it an enjoyable experience. There's a lot that goes into handling conventions. And at the same time, you know, also Anime Expo needs to look at this next year, knowing this information now, and I feel like they will have less of an excuse and a less of forgiveness next year, knowing, you know, had this stuff, you know, been presented to them earlier. Of course, this seemed to all happen right around the con or a couple weeks prior to the con with the limited constraints. So again, we will start to see a lot of that. Next year will be interesting to see how they handle that. So yeah, anyways, that's 35 minutes of SentinelSeiyu talking about Anime Expo 2020, 2025, 26. I'm forgetting what year it is even. But yes, so it will be interesting to see how they handle that next year. But to the positive side of Anime Expo, there's a lot of announcements that happened at AX. I'm going to think that we can keep going if JT is not going to stop me. So
go for it. If you want to, go for it.
So we're gonna transition out of that firestorm a little bit and transition into some very exciting stuff that came from Anime Expo. And of course, the biggest thing that came out of AX this year was Sword Art Online Integral Domain. Yes, I have to mention Sword Art Online, but as a SAO fan, I'm even wearing wearing the shirt today.
I wish I could show you
this is
guys
exciting.
like the lack of surprise and shock I had when Aaron sent me a list of topics that he wanted to mention, and like 3 of it was SAO. I was just like, yeah, checks out.
yeah, exactly. So so we've got this is the first time I'm pulling up Sword Art Online fandom for the first time. This will be probably first of many. We have got, of course, a new poster for Sword Art Online Integral Domain, which is coming out in 2028, which is cut off there on the top. How lovely. And it is coming to theaters soon. This is very exciting for a few reasons. The last Sword Art Online film that was, of course, received a anime adaptation or a screening of sorts was Sword Art Online Progressive Aria of a Starless Night, which came out in 2024 and featured some of the beginnings of Ironcrad's arc. Sword Art Online, of course, Integral Factor is the very first soon-to-be connecting film for Sword Art Online since Ordinal Scale, which came out in 2019.
I will have to disappear real quick, but keep going.
I was wondering about this. So, anyways, welcome to the SentinelSeiyu show. We'll keep you going, so don't worry. He will be JT will be back, but of course, Sword Art Online Integral Factor Integral Domain will be coming to theaters in 2028. It is the very first film since Sword Art Online Ordinal Scale, which is exciting news because Ordinal Scale had elements that connected to Alicization and further arcs that were coming out right around that time. So this could spell a brand new revitalization for the Sword Art Online franchise, making weird weebs like me who actually enjoyed Sword Art Online very happy, as again, Utenal Ring's anime adaptation could soon be on the horizon for 2029 or even 2030. When that, of course, none of that has been announced yet, but when Sword Art Online Integral Domain, I'm starting to kind of get used to the name here, goes to theaters, we will surely find out more about what is coming for Sword Art Online's anime adaptation for the Utenal Ring mangas that many fans have been raving about who love Sword Art Online. So very exciting stuff. We got a bunch of new stuff coming for Anime Expo. Coming from Anime Expo, of course, Bryce Papenbrook was at AX this year for lots of different reasons, of which was Sword Art Online themed, of course. I'm going to jump into the other exciting news. Of course, Sword Art Online Echoes of Ironcrad launches the day we are recording this. When you're hearing it, it has been out for about 3 days. On July 10th, of course, Friday, July 10th, Sword Art Online Echoes of Ironcrad launched for the first time. It is the first version that is out of the demo and the beta. Fans are really loving it and are streaming it right now as we speak. And I had to record a podcast today, so I don't get to play my copy, but maybe soon we will play that. So lots of very exciting stuff. Apparently 2026 is the year for Sword Art Online fans to be really excited about, of course, the new series Integral Domain coming soon. We're very excited to have another film adaptation in the works by A1 Pictures, Aniplex USA, and of course Reki Kawahara and the SAO project. Of course, Sword Art Online Echoes of Ironcrad has done decently well on its first couple days out into the openness, even as lots of other game companies make some really silly decisions we talked about last week, which we'll get to later in the show. But that wasn't the only thing that came from Anime Expo 2027. Of course, there was lots of other news that came out from there, and the very exciting thing is Clevitus Season 2 is coming out. I've checked out the series. It came into my feed and was very, very unique and very interesting. It takes a very grotesque look and a very graphic look in terms of violence into the what it's like to be basically an indentured servant to what is largely, I believe, a Dark Lord or a demon, and really tells a compelling storyline on how basically this Dark Lord is learning about how humanity functions from birth, as they raise a basically stolen heir to the throne of one of the kingdoms. I am not a Clevitis nerd, so we got a bunch of people probably in the audience who are quickly furiously commenting and writing about that. That is, of course, season 2 is coming out and was announced right around Anime Expo, I like to say, which is very exciting stuff. So lots of new announcements coming out of Anime Expo, and of course, Unanswered Butterfly for Sword Art Online Echoes of Aincrad, the companion anime, was shown at AX in the US and had its Japanese debut just a couple of days ago on YouTube for a short period of time, which was limited to just Japan, made fans kind of mad here in the US. But don't worry, fans, if you bought the deluxe edition of Sword Art Online Echoes of Aincrad, you've got the copy of that Unanswered Butterfly, which you can watch as a part of the companion pack, which is very exciting stuff. So lots of news for Sword Art Online fans. Clevitis fans are really excited. It is great that a lot of these wonderful series that I think are great, and largely the anime community does too, minus Sword Art Online, are getting season 2s, are getting greenlit for lots of new stuff. So there's plenty for you to watch, and we kind of have a resurgence of the land of great anime series to keep you busy.
I'm back to save you from Aaron's tangent. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, I did a pretty good job of staying on track, okay?
Yeah, that was
just like me.
That took a little longer than I thought it would.
That's all good. But we were catching up with some of the announcements from Anime Expo 2026. I got it right this time. The year right. I don't know what year it is, apparently. And so, yes, of course, I am very thrilled that Integral Domain is coming to screens soon, along with lots of other wonderful announcements.
Nice. Yes.
I might actually drag JT to this. We'll see.
Maybe.
You'll have to find out by subscribing to the podcast and waiting 2 years.
Maybe we'll do it before and after. Who knows?
Yes. But yes, very exciting stuff. As a Sword Art Online fan, it's been a long time since we've had original films come out and original series come out. It's kind of one of those series where we weren't sure if it was actually going to come back, because lots of people don't care for Sword Art Online as much as some of the freaks in the anime community like me. Sorry, SAO fans, but it is kind of true. Love. And so very exciting to see that we are getting a new film and is in the works. And of course, this means that we will soon be seeing, potentially, hopefully, some of the anime adaptation of Utenal Ring, which has been a widely loved manga adaptation, or manga edition, talking about the story after Alicization and the world of the underworld, which is always hard for me to say. So yeah, very exciting stuff. SEO fans, you got a lot to be excited for right now. So yeah, between that and Echoes of Aincrad and of course the companion film, there's a lot to be excited about if you like one of the most overhyped, overpowered anime characters and very broken anime series in existence, although not quite as bad as other series that have come out, like Mushoku Tensei, which
the
is getting its season 2.
Anime character that made dual wielding cool.
Yes, and inspired the list of the lineage of Isekai characters with black hair. Let me see. Anime characters. Let me see if I can find this here. If I can find the meme.
As Aaron does that, yeah, I had to quickly leave. My nephew was at my door, and then my older brother needed my help to move some of the cars in our driveway, and there's like 4 cars, and his is the last one. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, this is redirecting me to Reddit. This is great. Yes, we love Reddit. Don't sign me in. Don't expose my email address.
There we go.
Yes. So, very lovely indeed. And yes, every single anime character is there. Does your brother need you again?
Hmm?
I heard some knocking.
Maybe it's just my water bottle hitting the ground.
Oh, okay.
Or hitting my table.
Gotcha. Okay, but yes. Isekai protagonists have been very creative since then. Oh, I think he's from one of the series I've been watching recently. But yeah, it's very good. And I see Toya Mochizuki from Smartphone Isekai in there as well. But yes, very creative people. But yeah, Sword Art Online fans rejoice. we are now vindicated. We have a new series that we can now gawk at for the next 2 years, as we are excited for the anime adaptations, and we are very excited for the Bryce Papenbrook to return as well. I actually just found out today that Muzu is voiced by probably what is quite literally now become a joke in the voice acting and anime community by Alejandro Saab, who seems to be in pretty much everything. For many years, Matthew Mercer was the go-to voice in the anime industry. Now that Matthew Mercer is working on lots of other amazing things that are awesome, including Dungeons and Dragons stuff with
which
Critical
we will
Role.
get into later.
Yes. Oh, okay, cool. I'm hyped for that. Of course, somebody has had to take the lead, and that would be Alejandro Saab. So, Alejandro, why are you in everything? Please get out of my video game. He also voices all the hot characters, apparently. I don't know. I don't play dating sims, so I can't speak to that. But yeah, maybe if there was an Asuna dating sim. Great, I'm so glad that's going to be clipped. Awesome.
Yep.
Well, I think that catches you up with everything from me. We're going to dive into some topics for JT as we are rounding down to the last couple of minutes not last couple of minutes, but we are last chunk of the
our
show,
second half. Yeah.
Yes,
so
thank
before you take off your screen, there's just one quick thing I want to mention. We don't have to talk about it too much. I just think it's very funny. So with the World Cup going on right now, I was recently made aware of this, but did you know that there is currently, like a battle for Miku?
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah,
I was confused.
If you could actually pull up some of the memes of that, I think it's so funny. So I don't know the full story, but pretty much I think it was 2 teams that went against each. I think it was Japan. I don't know who they played against. I can't quite remember. I'm so sorry.
Eric can spell Miku.
I think it was Brazil. I don't want to say any for sure.
It was Brazil. I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, so it was there you go. Yeah, so they were generally saying that the true prize for this year's World Cup is Miku, and the winners would get like ownership of Miku. Obviously, no, it's not. Click off of that one. Let's not go any further before it gets dangerous. I don't know what people on the internet drew. I don't want to.
Well, you told me to look this up on the internet. Okay, here you go.
I meant like right there.
Yes.
But yeah, I just thought it was insanely funny. I don't even know how it happened. It just kind of kicked off. Yeah, there you go. It explains a little bit. Like the meme began after Japan's round of 32 losses to Brazil, and then they were quickly talking about getting custody over Miku, the Vocaloid.
Yes. You had me look this up on the internet. You had me type Miku into a search engine. What were you expecting? What were you expecting?
I had faith in humanity. Is all.
Well, it's the internet. But yes, of course. Yes. So the 2026 FIFA World Cup has unexpectedly turned a viral online custody battle over Hatsune Miku.
I just think it's so funny how out of everyone, it was Miku that somehow snuck her way into the World Cup. I'm like, what is she doing here? It has nothing to do with this right now. And it still made its way into it.
I was very confused because the first image that I saw was what Virtualized Kids is
We'll just put a giant black screen until
this is gonna make so much editing work. Where did the image go? I love Reddit here we go. Okay, yep, we're gonna quickly open this in a new tab before I get us canceled.
The video.
This is what I saw of it. This is my friend. I'm like, what is going on? Of course, I know World Cup is going on, and I'm following it here and there. And of course, I have family who are from Norway, so of course we're following it. Most of my family is. I know it doesn't seem like that because I don't. It's a long story. But
Aaron is just the anime protagonist.
Well, yeah, it's funny. I have a very similar journey to Irama, but my parents aren't horrible, so I got that. I mean, they didn't sell me to a demon, so that's good. I'm happy. But yes, of course, we got Hatsune Miku dressed as in traditional Nordic wear, and I was so confused when I saw this. I'm like, this is just like some of these fan art, but I'm like, no, this is like World Cup related. So I guess Norway, of course, won.
Norway is currently holding Miku.
Yes, Norway currently has custody over Miku, and that is some interesting fan art. Thank you,
I wonder who wins.
Love this mug. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. And we're gonna quickly click off that. I forgot I had that tabbed open. All right. Well, of course we're an anime show, so that to be expected. I can't control what the internet does.
Okay,
So yeah.
we're gonna go into Dungeons and Dragons now. The
Okay.
topic I said I
Yeah.
was gonna bring up last week. Whatever we don't cover today, we'll probably try to cover next time or at a later time. We're not gonna go over anything crazy. We're not gonna go over anything like relatively new. We're just gonna kind of talk about our own experience with D&D, what makes us like the TTRPG, us escape, like what got us into it, what do we like about it. So I'm gonna ask you first, like, obviously you're a fan. We've talked about this. I don't think we've ever talked about it on air, but yeah, what makes you a fan of Dungeons and Dragons?
Right. So mine is weird because I think I'm going to make the TTRPG community pretty upset. But I still say I enjoy lots of other individuals playing tabletop role-playing games. Dungeons and Dragons was one of those things where I had played it briefly when I was a high school student. Because when you live in a small town and you're a nerd, there's not much you can do. And it was sort of at the time where tabletop role-playing games were starting to become super popular. But in my high school, we were rural area, so it was still the weird nerd occultist lineage that many in that community, if you know, had.
Yeah.
The weird part about it is I played very few amounts of D&D sessions with my my awesome party, but when I graduated from high school, that ended, and I work on productions now that take a majority of my time. So I've been wanting to get back to it, but haven't. But I have been sort of getting back into it thanks to the lovely folks over at the Crit Roll podcast, which is just basically critical roles, endeavors, and journeys, and wonderful, amazing storytelling, and their adventuring party. I can listen to it in my car.
Vox Machina, if anyone wants to watch it instead.
Yes. Yeah, Vox Machina, yep, and The Mighty Nine on Amazon Prime Video. Yep. I always love Pumat Soul. He's great. He's the embodiment of what makes me living in the upper Midwest and how I talk. It's the most easily understandable portion for me being a Midwesterner. So yeah, gotta love that, dear. Gotta love that, dear bud. Welcome
say,
to
hey,
the,
what are you into?
say, hey, welcome to the Invulnerable Vagrant. We got lots of stuff in here.
Oh no.
And all sorts of things. Maybe that's what I need to audition for if they need if they need to like have his child or something.
No,
I got casting direction there. Yeah. Got a shot at that.
But yeah, that's awesome. The way I got into it was actually pretty funny. My older brother was into it first. Obviously, around middle school, high school, I was kind of like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. All I picture is obviously like very stereotypical back then, just nerds sitting around a table, and I was like, well, that looks kind of boring. And then I watched Dimension 20. Which I'm pretty sure is also how a lot of people got into it. I watched Dimension 20. I thought it was super fun. I started asking my brother more questions about it. I joined my high school's D&D club, and that's how I started playing, and that's where I really fell in love with it. Unfortunately, I don't get to play as much now because I am all cursed as I have the Forever DM curse, which I'm sure people will understand, and the more realistic curse of never being able to plan anything because everyone's always busy. But what I love the most about it is just the creative storytelling. I kind of like to do very free, like a very freelance story game, where like the more creative it can be, the more like entertaining it could be. I prefer that over than following the rules to a T.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I think for a lot of people, it's people who get interested in D&D post, Dimension 20 and, post Critical Role and Crit Role. Basically, those are the two ways you get into D&D, having not played it before. If you weren't playing it in the 70s or had a family member that played it when they were, in high school in the late 70s when it was coming out. It's the very same thing as voice acting. Many people who are in the VA industry started because they started watching anime, me included. So, great things to see. And I think the biggest thing that people don't realize about D&D, like you had mentioned, is just how important storytelling is to the core of what makes D&D And that's the fun part. That's the amazing part, is you get to create these wildly bombastic worlds that really
Yeah,
your imagination is the limit.
and it's just so fun to like for a while somehow embody someone else. It's not really like becoming a different person. It's just a different aspect of your personality that you can somehow crank up to 100 and just kind of let, yeah, like you said, let it run wild. And for me,
Absolutely.
I'm someone who's not really artistic. Like obviously, I would love to be able to paint. I can't. I would love to be able to draw. I can't. I have uh, big sausage fingers that that are very hard to be very delicate with. Like I've tried pottery. I'm terrible at it. So so for me, D&D was somewhere where I could be super creative and nothing could really stop me except except like how limited my imagination was, and I thought that was amazing. I could close my eyes and then see a different world, and to me that was so much more fun than trying to make it because in my head it was already there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I it's one of those things where Dungeons and Dragons has a lot of real world benefits that people don't realize. Big thing we know from our shared faculty advisor. By the way, I found out he found our podcast. So
Oh,
hello, Dr. Engen. Uh,
I somehow knew it was him before you even said it.
yes, but recently I had the opportunity to be a part of a college course that is centered around third places and how community functions, and especially today with the way technology just disconnects people in a way that's so unique. In fact, today I'm walking around Mall of America, the biggest mall on in America, and getting to see, just seeing how many people are on their phones constantly, and I, including myself, right, is just so wild as I turn my flashlight on. And it's D&D that really kind of has a lot of that. It hasn't changed too much. I mean, there's been lots of changes since, with updates like Daggerheart and many other game systems that exist now. But the core connection of bringing people together, and letting them socialize and tell a story, and sort of bring us back to our human roots is incredible. So there's a lot that can be gained through D&D, as well as just bring people together in third places,
Yeah, it
third
brings people
spaces.
together. It's a place to just be creatively free. Like you literally, not really, but depending on how, like, obviously when you find a passion for something you enjoy, it really feels like you're someplace else.
Right.
And
Well,
mm,
it's an introduction for a lot of people to be able to experience something like it, and teaches a lot of real world skills. Voice acting is a wonderful example of that, and getting to embody characters. And there's many elements that I've taken from my games as far back as when I was in high school that have helped me career wise to be able to come up with wild character voices on the spot, because that's what you're doing as a GM, which I GM'd
yeah,
once.
and for this is something a lot of I will admit, and I'm pretty sure every you have at least thought about it once, which is what if you wanted to write your own book, or like start your own series of anything? And D&D's a really easy way to just try it without having to worry too much about the details, because some people have games that go on for like 4 years and they're super intricate. They have so much lore of the world, of the characters. You essentially are just like, it is a story. Like it's not essentially, it's not kind of, you really are just making a story, except you get to live in it. So it's really like, so for me it's a lot of my own ideas, or like when I was younger, I was just like, oh, I want to write a book about, like, a fantasy book about characters and stuff. Well, this is kind of a way for me to do it, except I don't hit writer's block because I don't have to think about what every character would do, because my friends or other people I play with, like, they embody themselves into their characters, and I get to experience all of it, which is what I do like being a DM, because then it really is like, how do they surprise me, and how, even though essentially I'm giving them a puzzle, how are they gonna, like, how are they gonna solve the puzzle without solving it, and how are they just gonna throw the pieces back in my face and be like, "Ha, we did this instead." And I think that's awesome.
Right. And that's it's all the wonderful parts of storytelling without the hassle, right? Without
Mm.
the challenge of, because you are not your sole author. You have an entire room full of authors who are co-writing the story. And randomness is some of the best things that come about, right? In a way, when it comes to creativity and really unleashing a lot of those ideas in people. And so, it teaches you a lot of patience too. Just
It does.
when your friends decide, nope, who cares about what the system you created? We're gonna blow that, do something
Mhm.
completely different. And so it teaches you a lot of those critical building skills. And as Matt has reiterated over and over again, as Matthew Mercer has said, it's those elements that allow you to, for a lot of kids and children who are developing, to be able to get to experience with and work with social interaction and emotion and challenges in a very safe environment, that is needed more than ever in today's age, where interaction just isn't naturally forced upon individuals in the same way it has been previously, where smartphones, in worlds where smartphones didn't exist, or in the childhoods that you and me had prior to technology being in everybody's pocket. And so TTRPGs are going to be that way forward in some ways, right? As many of the other card games or Magic the Gathering, but
Yeah,
these
and
physical games that are reconnecting us at a time we truly need it
yeah,
most, I feel.
yeah, and like just adding to your point, like you said, like letting us experience what we need to feel, and like a time without our phones, it really is just kind of like your kid imagination coming back. You know, that youthful thinking of like the wonders of learning what everything is, or discovering new things. So it's just amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, I think
Mhm.
many people out there are returning to TTRPGs as sort of a home for this, right?
Mhm.
Because everybody's facing challenges, and as a joke that I should have made earlier in the show, but I work remote primarily.
Mhm.
This week I was remote my entire week, and it really did get to points where, I was going a little bit insane, and
Mhm.
I'm starting to be able to taste colors. They taste really good. But the reality of it is we have fewer opportunities for social interaction than we do, previously, when workplaces, work from home was not as an available option. When we have individuals who are, when smartphones are pretty much taking up majority of the time spent in our leisure. So, I think more than ever we are getting to a point where we need this stuff more than ever, and it's bringing back a lot of those opportunities and areas are wonderful. I got to attend my first TTRPG convention this last spring,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
and
you did.
it was a wonderful experience to get to see. I didn't
Mhm.
know much about TTRPGs, but just to see the amount of interaction that was happening, and just people connecting and getting to chat with people was just incredible. That wouldn't have otherwise may have happened in quite the same way had TTRPGs not existed, or had this interaction not been, had this zeitgeist of attention towards it not had kind of thrusted it into the public eye. So, sort of in contrast to Anime Expo, this is something where mass adoption has done wonders to help people and start getting people to think about how they can start their own games, and
Yeah,
unintentionally being able to create wonderful memories and reconnect with
wonderful
people.
memories. Yeah, one of the big examples is theater of the on the line. It is a YouTube channel. I suggest that you check it out. Me and Aaron are both fans, and they talk about this, their experiences on how they started too, and just like how surprised they were at how quickly they were able to take the scene and just what it offers to people, and how people relate to the story that they're telling with their characters, because like Aaron said earlier, it also offers a lot of mature views, and for a lot of people and you can find stories online on how the their characters reflects sometimes what they feel, and how they have somehow been able to learn lessons from their characters and equate it to real life scenarios, or like through their traumas, like how they bond, and for some people how closely they relate to their characters, because at the end of the day it's you as that person.
Yeah, and I think that's wonderful worlds that not to bring anime into this as a thing, but where we're seeing people gravitate towards mediums that aren't afraid to be able to tackle the harsher things in life. One Theater of the Underlined episode covered a very difficult issue, but a very common issue that I'm not afraid to admit I've experienced myself, and that is challenges with how mental health is addressed, and how depression challenges individuals to reconsider. And through the character of Elliot, we get to see the challenges that he faces as an individual, and how certain concepts of how people get to a state of unfortunately self-harm, which we'll keep it PG for the purposes of YouTube, happen. But again, storytellers are not Dungeons and Dragons. Gives you that opportunity to be able to basically talk through those stories and present those to individuals, to give insight into how that works, and not necessarily to push that, but to see how we experience all those challenges. And anime does much of the same thing, by not being afraid to stray away from those topics. In a lot of ways can help individuals, including myself, to be able to think through things logically and in a way that is having a character feel the same emotional struggles and and difficulties and tendencies that you have, and being able to sort of have a parallel relationship with it that allows you to be able to feel better about that these emotions aren't incorrect, and that you aren't weird, you're not wrong for feeling this is incredible. And so it's one of the many different impacts that TTRPGs and storytellers can have, and it's something especially at a time when a lot of, I think, our generation needs to hear that in the difficulty that we're experiencing as a generation as a whole, which, of course, I can't speak to as on any trained topic, because I'm not a licensed psychologist. Many of my other friends are much more equipped to handle that.
We're just two guys talking about nerdy stuff on a show.
Just two guys talking about nerdy stuff, so we aren't qualified, but I do think that when I've talked to fans of many TTRPG series, Theater of the Unaligned, of course, being among them, and in a lot of other mediums that aren't afraid to challenge it, that we are lucky to have series like this today to be able to yes, tug a little bit at those heartstrings, and also not be afraid to push those boundaries when other mediums tend to shy away from it, or are too scared for, again, shareholder, whatever that is.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
We're very lucky to have wonderful series like this, and they're just wonderfully creative, wonderfully independent at a time. And so many individuals with D&D have opened so many opportunities for jobs in mediums, artistry, voice acting, animation, with a series like theater, from games transitioning from the table to the screen, Vox Machina, Dimension 20, and many others.
Dimension 20. And even Theater of the Online, they had a Kickstarter. I don't know if it's still going, for animating their story. Like, they have a lot of YouTube shorts. That's how they blew up. And they want to make it a show where you can watch. And my camera shake. And I was one of the lucky people to actually see the Kickstarter, like the trailer for it, before they released it, because I had the pleasure of seeing them at Gen Con a couple years ago, and that is my flex on Aaron.
I was pretty upset.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were tagged in a social media post with them. I was pretty upset.
I tagged them, and then I got reposted, and the only thing I could do in my my hotel room was like, yes. I
Vindicated.
Yes.
I know. That's like my dream. Like, Bryce Papenbrook's coming in November, man. I'm hoping.
It was one of those moments where it was like, where as a fan, I was like, I got noticed. And I was gonna.
Hey, I would have been right there with you, man. I would have been right there with you.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, I mean, wonderful animated series are coming from this, and we're very lucky to have a lot of those series. And Theater of the Unaligned I've watched episode 1, and I love it. I gotta say, it's pretty good. So check it out. We'll link it in the show notes, of course, as you know. But Theater of the Unaligned, many of these other series,
check it out.
has been pushing TTRPGs into a unique space.
And I mentioned 20. They have free first episodes for their shows. I believe they even have a whole season, like a couple of seasons for free to watch. So if you want to try to get into it, that's how a lot of people found their way into it. That's how I found my way into it. So I say check it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you want another free and really easy way to get it is obviously D&D podcasts. One I listen to the most is Dungeons and Daddies. And not a BDSM podcast. It's in there. No, okay. But
we'll link it.
It's really funny. It's by Rocket Jump, or no, not by Rocket Jump, but Freddie Freddie Wong, along with Matt Arnold, Beth May. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm forgetting all the other ones. Anthony Birch, and then I'm super embarrassed. I will get the names, but the reason why it's called that is because it's about 4 dads who get, in Aaron's words, Isekai into the Forgotten Realms. So it's about 4 fathers who go on a journey to find their kids in the fantasy world.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Well, so we'll link that, but that's awesome. I'll have to check that out. I'm always looking for a new podcast to listen to.
And they go over a lot of serious topics too, obviously, because they cover a lot of fatherhood and just how you navigated what it's like. They go over a lot of serious topics too, just like stepfatherhood and other things like that, and just kind of the effects your parents have on you, like how much it matters to have the support of a parent, like how much it matters to know your parent loves you, and all told through a show that's called Dungeons and Daddies, and you would never expect something like that. But yes, it's Anthony Birch, Freddie Wong, Matt Arnold, Will Campos, and Beth May are they're the voices you hear, but obviously they have a much more talented team behind them too. I'm one of their Patreon followers, so that's how I'm into it. But it was one of those stories that it came out during my time in high school during COVID, and to this day, I've still listened to them. I go back and re-listen to their content all the time because it just brings me comfort, and it's just one of those things.
Absolutely. Well, that is awesome. And so, I'll have to definitely check that out. That's very interesting. To see that happening. That's just wonderful. And so there's so many amazing ways, like I said, talking about fatherhood is something that is very unique and wouldn't maybe traditionally be told in such a way that that TTRPGs offer the opportunity for creators to do that, and to apparently isekai their characters, because that seems to be the trend. Yep. So, but so many amazing things that are happening today, and it's just a great time to be in some ways, right? I feel like as nerds and otakus and however you identify, it's now more than ever has been, we've been all very lucky to be able to experience what is essentially this renaissance of nerd culture becoming mainstream. And so I've been super happy myself, but that's just me. So
I think it's been awesome. And
so TTRPG is wonderful.
TTRPG is awesome. Since you and I have both played, my other question is what's your favorite class and why? Because as a lot of people in that play TTRPGs, they know that depending on your answer, it explains a lot about you.
Oh God, yeah. It's been 4 years now, I think, since I've played. And so, oh God, I don't even remember what my class was originally. I do remember my character was based off of, was so uncreative at the time. It was based off of Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII.
There's nothing wrong with that.
God, I want to say, I don't remember. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'll have to message my friend who might still have the original character sheet. Unfortunately, I lost the D&D Beyond account that I think that character was attached to. So unfortunately, I don't think I can even just look it up. But I will have to get it for next show.
No worries. No, my My favorite character,
That's a
I
good
think I've
question.
talked about it, is I love being a bard.
Yeah. Okay, that explains a
I
lot.
love
Yeah.
wow. Even though I
Well,
said it
I'm
too. No.
well. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so if obviously if you're in the D&D space, I'm not. I just think it's so funny. I love how versatile they are with like character wise, storyline wise, and how you can play them. I really I really like how flamboyant you can kind of be depending on what you want to do, and all the other roles are and other classes are amazing too. I don't know. It's just the one that I always like to play. It's always fun. I always like to like my joke character, or like just like for fun for one shots is always to be just a regular human bard, which my friend always hates.
I mean, that's fair.
Mhm.
That's fair. Yeah, like I said, it just gives people so many opportunities, and I've gotten to know owners of many shops over the years who sell products related to D&D and whatever what have you, and it's just to see the amount of community, to see how it brings communities together, even small ones, is just incredible.
Oh,
And as Jason drops his copy of
no, I
Daggerheart.
thought no, I thought I had my dice on my table. I was gonna be like, yeah, look, it's right here. No.
It's D20. Well, yeah, I was gonna say you haven't even shown a D20 in the show, man. Fake fan, poser.
Fine, I'll put it on one of my corners.
Add it to the corner.
Yeah, add it to the corner.
But it just, the opportunity to be able to connect with people in that way is amazing, and I think more than ever our generation is looking for ways to get off of technology, and as we were talking at the top of the show, it's like, man, technology is everywhere. You can't escape it now. Being able to experience games based on imagination, rooted in storytelling, really getting us back into a balance in a way is just so wonderful, and to see communities and small businesses thriving with this is just awesome. I mean, I think getting to experience all of that as a fan is great, and going to conventions around it and just talking with the community and seeing how open they are and how willing they are to accept new players and get them involved and get them connected, which I can't say the same of the anime fan base. Sorry, anime fans, but you guys are kind of salty when people try to get into the anime
well, to be fair,
but
there's always like two sides of the same coin. So
true. I mean, it's not like the D&D fan base is perfect, but
there's always going to be
TTRPG's
outliers.
world,
There's always going to be outliers.
yes, and I would say the anime fan base is fairly accepting of people, but D&D has something unique about it where, it is just there's so much of a community that is ready to help you.
Energy about it.
And it's amazing. And it's just, to have that experience for lots of new people who are shy, and just, getting people connected who traditionally are shy, are naturally introverted is awesome, and getting them to be able to come out and show their emotions. We're the weird 2 or 3%, we're the weird part of the nerd fan base where, and I'm not putting down nerds at all, but we do a show every week,
we do a
podcast
show.
And we are chatterheads, and that is not common among a lot of these fandoms, and D&D is a safe space for nerds to be able to experience that and get to form a lot of those connections without it having to feel scary or intimidating.
Like one of my biggest one of the biggest things you always see is how welcoming people are to new players, because they want people to try it out, they want people to get into it, and kind of like to go along with what Aaron was saying, like it's very we're more so open about this because it really is just us nerding out every Friday with kind of no direction, but it's fun and we hope you guys enjoy. And because even for me, that's kind of how I was too, especially when we did our radio show together. I was so much more closeted and reserved about it that you wouldn't think that I would join Aaron on this show to be more open about it for an hour and a half or however long our episodes go.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, unheard of for much of the community, that, two nerds are talking for an hour and 20 minutes about how much of a nerd they are. And, but I think is vindictive of how the status of nerd has changed, and D&D and TTRPGs becoming mainstream is something that I think every fan was kind of looking for years, especially in the TTRPG community, where Satanism got connected to it in the very most bizarre
that's a whole another
strange way, which is happens to every medium that people don't understand. But at the same time, my thing is it's like, well, there are people out there that are huge fans of seeing what essentially to me when I see football, and this is going to get me canceled in my family, but hopefully they're not listening, but what is essentially two really, really, really testosterone heavy men just ramming into each other at Mach 5. And I mean, I'm not saying that people who like football are dumb
I can't say anything because I played it.
Right, exactly. But because I'm into anime, and that is the most unconventional thing, to a point where we are now going to have to censor a majority of this episode. But it's just, that's, I think having the opportunity for everybody to feel comfortable with a fandom, and nerds are not seen as weird as much as they used to be. I'm sure there's pockets of the world, including the pocket of the world that I lived in, where it was still weird, but now it seems to be a lot more acceptable. And like I've mentioned in previous shows, having friends come back to me and ask me about a lot of the nerdy interests I had in high school because they're getting into it, or their kids are getting into it. It's just like astronomically crazy. Maybe not their kids. I don't think anybody, at least I know of, is at our age is having children yet, but other friends of mine who are older having children that are like, I don't know anything about this. You're the one that I know that knows an unhealthy degree about this thing. So, again, I think we're very lucky to have that. So, of course, TTRPG is something to look out for, to consider joining a party. I would definitely suggest it. JT's never stirred anybody, or has never directed anybody wrong. I have. I told people to go watch some of the worst anime series to exist, but JT has never steered a person in the wrong direction. Has never steered a person in the wrong direction. Of course,
as we know,
as far as I'm aware, like, I don't know. Maybe he's telling people to go, I don't know, do drugs behind the comic book store down the street, for all we know. No. But I don't think that is the case. That doesn't seem like JT to me. Yes, okay. But yes, we are getting towards the end of the show here on Life in Panels. It's been another interesting week, from Anime Expo to TTRPGs, and some wonderful updates for Sword Art Online geeks, or just horrible anime enjoyers out there, rejoice. We got a few more things I'm going to wrap up with real quick in a rapid fire before we end the show. We've heard a lot of new controversy in the PlayStation community, Sony community, about the move to digital only titles going forward and disc-based production stopping. I have heard from many friends, including my cousin, who have been very upset by that change. So we will see where that takes us. It is great to see so many people coming out against the stop killing games and DRM and digital, junk that is being forced upon us. So consumers are taking notice and are pretty upset. So, it is exciting to see, and we'll keep tracking that as we go and provide you with updates right here on Live and Panels. Of course, we've got Demon Slayer Infinity Castle coming soon to Crunchyroll, so stay tuned for that, Demon Slayer fans. I was going to go see the film. I think I had work that day, so it'll be an exciting moment for me.
We'll talk about it next week if Aaron watches it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so check it out. Demon Slayer Infinity Castle is coming to Crunchyroll, and of course, we will save my thoughts for the Old Country Bumpkin Becomes a Master Swordsman, because episode 2 will be out, and I have more things to say, so we'll save that one for next week. But thank you again for joining us here on Live in Panels. We hope you had a great AX and didn't die. I heard there was lots of stuff happening throughout the convention, lots of fun events. There's a couple of voice acting competitions that were happening. Bang Zoom was doing one. I think Aniplex might have been, and of course Crunchyroll had their dubbing booth. So that was a lot of fun for fans. Lots
I don't know
of
why, but when you said
signing.
fun things, I made a weird face because I thought you were gonna go a bad direction. But I was like, thankfully it was only positive.
No, all positive things. People were frustrated about the lines, and I understand totally sitting in a line for that long is no fun. But lots of stuff going on. I did pick up a copy of one thing we didn't talk about, but I picked up a copy of chat. They had the first manga of
Welcome to Demon School.
Yeah, welcome to Demon School, Iruma-kun. So I have been fully engrossed in it, but it is a great read. I've read through a majority of it while I was waiting to meet up with my cousin today, and getting to see the German suplex and just as insane as it was in the anime is just like 100% worth it. It was worth my $12. But as you can see, I am stalling for time here on the very end of this edition of Live and Panel. So I guess it is time to get us to wrap out of the show. But thank you for joining us. Comment down below if you're on YouTube. Tell us what your favorite dice is.
Yeah,
I would be interested to see.
Tell us what you think.
I'm interested to see. Yeah,
tell me your favorite class and why.
Yeah, tell Jason what's your favorite classes and why. He'll judge you harshly for it.
And guess what you think Aaron is, because I have
yes.
thoughts.
Yes. Oh, good. We'll talk about that in the other show if I can try and find my original character sheet from back then. But yes, thank you for joining us for this edition of Life in Panels. We're so glad to have you on board. We're gonna get you out of the show here. A few things to note: we have a Patreon page where you can support shows like this. So I guess I better just run my outro, maybe. Thank you for joining us for Life in Panels. We're glad you stuck with us today. If you want to stay up to date with our episodes in Life in Panels, you can follow us in your favorite social app. Not yet. At Life in Panels Pod. Again, not yet. You can visit our website at lifeinpanels.com. That is up. That is lifeinpanels.com, where you can get all these episodes plus bonus episodes when you pay up, sucker. We have a subscription that you can help support the show with. Of course, we have a Patreon. Yes, we have a Patreon page now, so you can subscribe to a Mega Otaku subscription in the Apple Podcasts app if you're listening on an Apple device. Otherwise, you can head over to patreon.com, I believe, let me see here. Patreon.com/CWC as in corn, W as in whale, /OtakuNET US. And that will get you right there. And you can subscribe to see bonus episodes and show extras and little behind-the-scenes things, all sorts of that stuff. Of course, you've been listening to anyways, my name is SentinelSeiyu, aka Aaron. That's
JT, aka Jason. Hopefully I'm putting the right stickers.
You're all good. And you've been listening to Life in Panels, an OtakuNET Original Series. It has been a pleasure to be with you today, and enjoy the rest of your day wherever it may take you. Hey, there we go. Sayonara, everyone.
Goodbye.
OtakuNET.